In today's video, we're talking about retrospectives. Retrospectives are so important, not just in software and technology, but it can be used in your day-to-day life. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you an example of in today's video. If you're new to Scrum or Agile and you're thinking, what the heck is a retrospective? Let me explain. A retrospective is simply a way to assess how things have been going, what are the things that you've done that could be improved, what are the things that are going really well that you want to continue to do, and then you typically set some kind of action item so you can follow through and use those learnings to help you better deliver your goals. Why not use the end of the year as the perfect opportunity to do a retrospective? I'm going to assess different areas of my personal life, my business, and my day-to-day as a Scrum Master. The next question that you're probably asking is, if I do a retrospective, then what kind of tools do I have to use? Let's keep this very basic. If you don't want to do something like using a tool, you can simply grab a piece of paper and a pen, and all you have to do are write a few columns. Our first column is what went well. Our second column is what could be improved. And our last column is what didn't go well because we don't want to do these things again. As you can see, this is very simple. I have my 3 columns, and then underneath, I'll take some time to think about each of these and write down some ideas. I would recommend setting aside 10 to 20 minutes, possibly even more, because for this exercise, I'm reflecting on the entire year. So that could take quite some time to go through and really reflect. And at the very end, you have something that looks like this. Now that I've written down all of the things for the personal retrospective, let me share out some wins, some losses, and some areas that I want to improve on. The first one that I have on my list is traveling a lot. This was amazing because post-pandemic, I have not done a lot of traveling and I've really missed it. Traveling has been great because it's something that I'm passionate about. It's something where I can learn about other cultures. I learn new things about myself. And it's really just a chance to get away and come back with a fresh perspective. As far as travel this year, I really wouldn't change anything. I think that things went really well. And if I could do it all over again, I would probably do it exactly the way that I did this year. The other win that I'm very proud of this year is I want to get more comfortable with public speaking. This is something that I don't have a fear of, but it's something that I'm really not comfortable with, and I want to get better because this is something that will help me in my business. The way that I accomplished this year was I really pushed myself out of my comfort zone, and I actively sought opportunities to do public speaking. So I reached out to local meetups, I found out about summits or conferences that were going on, and one of the biggest accomplishments for me was actually being asked to speak at the PM72 Summit. It was their first annual summit where they talked about project management or agile topics, and that was a great opportunity for me. And the last thing that I'll say as far as my wins is I'm very proud of myself for increasing my reach and being able to help service more and more Scrum Masters, even more so than I did in the previous year. The way that I did this was I really learned how to market and use a lot of the testimonials that I have from my immersion program and use that in order to sell out of most of my classes this year. And the other thing that I learned was by launching my own video course, I was able to help way more people while not having to spend more time that I really don't have devoted to doing another class. So I ended up launching a Scrum 101 Basics class, and hundreds of people bought it this year. So that was a really great way to be able to reach and help way more people than last year. Improvements. There's more than just one thing that could be improved, but the one that I'm really focused on is improving my consistency with social media. The reason that this is so important for me is I need to improve my consistency with marketing in order to reach more people, in order to reach my goal of helping more people and obviously growing my business. The reason that I put this in the improvement column is because I did a really great job. I know that I published a lot of social media topics. I helped a lot of people, and I reached my goal of selling out of most of my immersion program. However, I still feel like I have further to go. And with this, what has been really important and what has been very helpful for me as a business owner to succeed is consistency. I'm going to preach consistency whether you're a new Scrum Master looking for a job or just wanting to get better. Consistently showing up is the most important thing. Since I do want to make this one of my action items, at the end, you'll see how I take this and I put it into a tangible thing that I can actually do over the next year or a certain time box, say the first month of the year, to make sure that I get better at this. And as far as my losses for the year, this is something that I'm not really proud of, especially since I try to preach having a balanced life to other people that are in my program, but life happens and we can't all be perfect. So the thing that didn't go well was burnout. I feel that I had 2 times throughout the year where I really suffered burnout. And I know in retrospect, this is because I was putting other priorities first. So I know next year when I want to improve on this, what I can do is make sure that I'm prioritizing things like exercising a few times a week, make sure that I'm eating healthy, getting enough sleep. I think I spent a lot of time some weeks where I was so focused on pushing hard in my business, pushing hard in my 9 to 5, taking care of the family. But you can do, what's the saying? You could do everything, you just can't do everything all at once. And I really learned that the hard way. I was pushing very hard, and then I ended up having to take an entire week off, usually because I would get sick or I would just be so tired from pushing through from, that long week or long weeks of working. The next part is setting, I would say really one action item. You can set 2 if you want. I just think if you're setting priorities of what you want to focus on, you don't want the list to get too long, because then it's really difficult to make sure that you're holding yourself accountable to all of those different goals. So for me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick January as my time box. Right now it's December, and January 1st through the end of the month, what I'm going to focus on are these 2 goals. The first one that I talked about was marketing consistency. But the way that I have found the most success in my business has been marketing through social media. And there have been lulls, times where I spend a lot of time on social media marketing, and then lulls where I won't post anything for weeks, maybe even a month at a time, which is not consistent at all. So for me, I want to set a realistic goal of what I can do to improve. And I would say really 3 times per week at a minimum that I'm posting something. So I'll say the month of January, I'm going to post 3 times a week. And specifically, I'm doing this on all 4 social media platforms. So LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. The next thing that I know I want to improve is I want to prevent burnout. So this means really having self-care. Self-care to me is doing the things to take care of myself, like exercising. So I'm going to set a goal of exercising, lifting 3 times a week. That's something that I have found is a realistic goal for me. And sticking to a high protein, well-balanced diet. The other thing that I need to prioritize is sleep. So going to bed at, let's say, 10 o'clock at night, every night. I know that even saying it right now, that may not happen every single time, but I'm going to try my best to go to bed at, say, 10 p.m. every single night, get a full 8 hours of sleep, and then this will really help prevent burnout. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a like and go ahead and subscribe so you can make sure you get all of my content when it comes out. And if you're new to Scrum, make sure to check out my Scrum 101 Basics class. You can go ahead and get the link to it down below. If there's any other content that would be valuable to you, make sure to go ahead and leave it below in the comments. Thanks for checking this video out, and I'll see you in the next one.